Hey, Daniel.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, man. Kippy as I can be. What's that?
My name's Ehsan Akabi, and I've worked as a public defender for about 12 and a half years now. My client, Daniel Knoll, was charged with obtaining controlled substance by fraud in Buncombe County, as well as level 3 trafficking. When I first met with Daniel, he struck me as a pretty vulnerable person in our community. It seemed pretty clear to me that the charges were incongruent with the person we were dealing with.
I was living on the street, homeless individual. I had been out on the street for quite a while. My girlfriend died in 2016, and I hit the street. I was drinking. I go to this place called The Respite, went to lunch, and coming back out that evening, this guy and this girl came by. They stopped and hollered, "Hey." They said, "You want to make some money?" And I said, "Doing what?" You know, if somebody come to you, you broke, like I was. I got in the car with them, and we went to the drugstore, and I went and got the medicine. It didn't seem like there was nothing wrong with it, because I was paying for it. Went to 2 drugstores in Yancey County, and 1 in Madison, which I didn't know the difference that day. Got it and come out, and they gave me another $25. I said, "Hey, stop right there at that liquor store." And so I started drinking, and I'm used to walking, so I'm in a car now, drinking, and riding in a car, listening to music. After that, it was just like a dream, 2 or 3 weeks later, I was out on the street one day. That's when the officers asked us, says, "Let me see your ID." And I said, "Sure." They came back and said, "Daniel, you got heroin and opiates." And I said, that thing got to be wrong. Because I didn't know nothing about no pills. And I didn't know the pills had heroin in them. I didn't know I was going against the law like that. I did not know it.
In Buncombe County, he was accused of 2 counts of level 3 trafficking. They just have to prove possession and, you're automatically just trafficking. These are draconian laws that are very oppressive, and they're relics of the 90s or war on drugs and things like that,
When I ran in 2014, the talking point that I had was the most underutilized resource in the justice system is district attorney discretion. Every case that's charged does not need to be handled, to some binary type outcome. Guilt, innocence, prison, probation. There are more things that can be brought into the system to provide additional forms of healing, of redress, of intervention.
I was working with a prosecutor by the name of Pat Patton, and he offered us a plea agreement that involved a dismissal of his trafficking charges.
In the prescription arena, filling 1 prescription of the right opiate may get you to a trafficking by possession.
You're prosecuted by the weight of the drug, okay? The case law that surrounds it says, okay, if it's 50% baking soda and 50% cocaine, but you sold it on the street 1 kilo, you're going down for the weight. It doesn't matter what it was cut with in terms of what was the actual potency of it. Well, when you look at pharmaceuticals, very frequently you're going to have sugar, acetaminophen, and a very small percentage that will actually be a controlled substance.
Then you're facing that decision as a prosecutor. Yeah, they ended up with enough pills that they could go away for 70 or 90 months even. But is that where this person belongs?
The judge did ultimately sentence him to probation for the Buncombe County matters. Unfortunately, in Daniel's case, The offenses were spread across our area, so they transferred him to Yancey County.
At Buncombe County, they only gave me 30 months probation. And then when I went to Yancey County, oh God, that man over there, the BA, he tried to act like that I had went out and robbed the grocery store.
My job was over in the sense that I was a public defender, and because I'm a public defender, I'm restricted to representing my client on charges I'm appointed to within Buncombe County. But there's a sense of injustice with this case, and it really bothered me, like that they would try to charge him with these offenses that carry so much time. I mean, I've worked with the prosecutor in Yancey County. I knew him. I did speak to him. I thought the facts, since they're basically the same facts, I figured that there would be a similar outcome.
As I'm in jail, everybody kept telling me, ain't no black people over here. Ain't no black people over here. And I said, what?
Do you think that changed your case?
Yeah, I think so. Because I've seen the white girl that got up, and she had 2 ounces of meth she was caught with. And manufacturing, they gave her 1 year probation. They said it was because she was from that area. And I'm sitting there listening to her case, and I'm like, she got dead, and I get trafficking, and this girl has 2 ounces of meth? The PA was saying they were considered heroin. It was before those pills that was enough to convict me. The only thing that the judge did was listen. That's why the DA, I said, he controlled it, put it that way.
When they're charging your client with an offense that has 450 months, what leverage do you have, to really kind of make it a fair negotiation? So the prosecutor's offices, from the death penalty to trafficking mandatory minimum sentences to all kinds of sentences, have a lot of tools at their discretion to make the system as oppressive as they want to make it.
They told me if I didn't take the plea, they was going to hit me with another trafficking charge. They was trying to tell me they was going to give me 18 years if I went in front of a jury and they found me guilty. I was afraid. So I took a plea for 70 months and $50,000. That's what my fine is. After I do 6 years for these people, they want me to pay them $50,000. I ain't paying nothing, but I owe you $50,000, and you put me in jail for 6 years? What am I supposed to live off of when I get out? You know what I'm saying? When I get out, where am I going? Where? Well, I mean, live in a box? You sticking me out there so you can make sure I come back.
I think some jurisdictions perhaps still do exist in kind of a 90s era philosophy, which is tough on crime, 3 strikes you're out. We're going to keep our communities safe by removing the threat as soon as the threat manifests itself. Whereas, I'm responsive to what I would say are Buncombe County values, which are, we want to be compassionate, we want to do justice, fairly, with integrity, and we're not looking to put notches on our belt. We want people to be well.
After I found out what happened to Mr. Knoll, I think about him almost every day, honestly. And there's a lot of cases like this that you just, it takes a toll on you. You think about people and the time they're facing, and it bothers me that he's in Craggy Institutional Center 10 miles up the road for 3 years. And he's gonna be there for another 3 years for essentially the same crime that I represented him on, just for crossing a county line.
I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit drinking. So, it's been an eye-opener to be sober. It's the best part of it. Especially with these things happening right now, like my mother died last year. in February, as soon as I got here. And then now this year my sister dies and I'm not able to go. So guys here, a lot of them call me Unc, you know, some of them call me Pops. See, I'm about the oldest guy here. So it's good to know, you know, be able to have a laugh, you know, even in a situation such as this. But I got my daughters, they keep me reared up. They waiting on me, you know.